Hello. What would you do if the new property and the new house you just bought was already having people living in it when you got it and they weren't going anywhere? Tonight, we're going to find out exactly what one couple did when they found out that their new place was haunted. So let me show you this right quick. This is priceless. This will give you an idea of what tonight's show is going to be like right off the bat. And sit back and enjoy this for just a moment.
So it's a little windy out here. Anyway, everybody was asking like, "Why are you guys selling your house? And are you getting divorced?" We got that one. No, we just found the home of our dreams. And anyways, we'd like to share what we did with everybody. So it's in the background. Anyway, we bought an old house. It's called the Shady Bend Manor. It was built in 1874. So anyway, well, I'm not sure what's going to happen or what the future holds, but we might want to buy some stock in ramen noodles. Peace out.
Wow. This is definitely going to be a interview that I want you guys to sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy because I'm getting ready to bring to the stage now Wesley and Hurley. Uh, hey guys.
Hello.
Um, so introduce yourselves to a little bit to our folks and tell us about this amazing house.
Okay, well, I'm Wesley. This is Julie. And so we are the occupants, owners, caretakers, whatever you want to call it, of the Shady Bend Manor. It's a beautiful Victorian home located in Oxford Township of Coshocton County, Ohio, built in 1874. And we pretty much live in a dream. And we met in high school, and when we were hot and heavy and flirtatious, we would often take long strolls and look at the magazines that you could get out of the dispenser that had all the real estate in it. And we always imagined when we were kids that we would be able to find and buy a big old Victorian house and doctor it up and restore it or whatever. And so I ran off and joined the Marines, and she went off and she lived her life. And eventually, fate would bring us back together again. And our love, I guess it never rekindled. It just never went away, I guess is what you would say. And so, um, to make a short story long, as they say, we we lived in a trailer for a little while. Then we were able to buy a house in 2022, and we were remodeling that. And that place was haunted too, by the way.
Jeez.
And so um, I would say probably about December 2nd of 2023.
It was on December 2nd.
I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, and I was just, you know, you get lost on Marketplace. You could spend days on that. So I just happened across the Shady Bed Manor. The house is for sale again. And I was like, Julie, you gotta come see this. This house is up for sale again. And she thought I hurt myself, so she came running up the steps or whatever. And she's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, this house is up for sale again." She says, "Well, which one?" I was like, "Well, here, I'll show you." So we're scrolling through the photos, and I was like, "Wow, can you believe this? Just look at the dining room. It's got like a hidden stairway, and oh my gosh, it's just crazy." I said, "Well, we just been living in our other house for what, like a year and a half, and did a ton of work on it, put new windows in it, rewired the whole house. I mean, we set it up the way we wanted it. And as soon as this one popped up, we were like, brakes on here. We gotta hit the clutch and shift gears because this train's a moving. And so I said, Julie, do I have your permission to try to do this? And she looked at me in a loving fashion and said, absolutely. So,
Oh, wow.
and the next day I called a mortgage company, which Veterans United, if there are any veterans out there looking for a home, Veterans United took care of us like you wouldn't believe. They did a great job. Just a little plug for them. And so I called and I was like, there is no possible way any sane person would lend me the amount of money that we need for this house. You know, we already own another $200,000 home, which is a lot in our area. And so this one was for sale for $450,000. And I thought there's no possible way that any reputable banker's going to lend me the money.
Right.
So, but they were like, well, Mr. Hurlis, you're approved up to, I don't know, 400 and whatever thousand. I'm like, no way. There's no way. So I was like, okay, well, what do we do next? They said, well, we're going to put you in touch with a real estate agent. If you want to use one of ours, we'll knock a point off your interest rate. I'm like, hey, let's get it going. So I was on the phone with Veterans United, and we did like a group call with our realtor, Steve Daly, from Leonard and Newland, and he was a phenomenal realtor for us. And so started the ball rolling. We had people from all over the world competing against us for this house. So there were people from California, Oregon. They had a telephone call from somebody in Belgium that wanted the house.
Jeez.
And so, I mean, if you were to ever walk through here and see it, anybody would realize it's really a one of a kind masterpiece. And they just don't build them like this anymore. And so, I would say it took about a month and a half of wrangling and wheeling and dealing. And Steve, you gotta help me out here. I'm tapped out. I can only do so much. You know what I gotta have? They gotta pay for the closing, and I can't go a dollar above 450,000 because I'm going to be broke. We're going to be living off of ramen noodles, like I said. So, and I'm just a carpenter, and she builds garbage trucks for a living, and so we're not what would you say, the upper crust, we're blue collar people through and through. So, but they had a couple fly in from California and Oregon that both apparently outbid us. And the people that sold us the house were like, we had a chance opportunity in meeting them because part of the deal was with the Veterans Administration was they wanted the outside of the house, the wood painted. So you'll find in, I think, some of the pictures that I sent you, the picture of Julie and I in January, and it was -5 degrees and the paint was freezing on our brushes in order to make this deal work. And they happened to be home the day that we were out here. We got to meet them, and they're like, forget it. It's all yours. Don't worry about other people. We're just going to tell the realtor, since we met you and you're local, we want you guys to have the house. So, and I think that pretty well covers that in detail. But and that day that we moved in, there you go.
My face was so frozen. I tried to talk to him a few times, and it felt like I was on Novocaine. I was just like,
Right. You know what? When I saw this photo, I was like, wow, this has got to be how things were for them right off the bat going
Yeah.
into this.
-5 right there that day was.
Yeah, it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday morning, and yeah, it was awful, but we got it done.
Then he had to hang me out of the second story Belvedere windows by my belt loop in order to paint the outside trim of the windows.
I was holding on to her like this, you know, on her
Wow.
britches, and had my leg prop up against the window, and she's painting the arches outside so we could get it done. That's how bad we wanted it to be done and get worked out. So
I don't recommend that.
no.
Wow. So you guys, I mean, and it shows. We'll put up a couple of the photos of the house uh, in its current state. It really shows the love that has been put into this building.
Yeah.
But before you guys, though, were even ever a concept in this world, there was the original owners.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about them, and tell us what you know about how this house came to be.
Okay, well, there are a lot of really interesting stories. The original owners were Mr. Hardy, as you see, and his wife Emily, and they were married in 1864. Well, he was a very enterprising guy. He grew up in Oxford Township of Tuscarawas County, which borders Oxford Township of Coshocton County. So it's like right next to each other. And he was educated in an old log schoolhouse. And he was born in I want to say it was 1824 or 25, and he moved here when he was about 12 years old with his parents. And his parents were from Ireland, so he went on to what was called, I think, the Greenfield Academy, and was educated as well as an old country boy could be at the time. And when he was done with his education, he became a school teacher, and he was also a clerk in Newcomerstown for one of the businesses there. Then he went on to become an assistant engineer on the Ohio Erie Canal. And then in about 1866, him and his wife were able to purchase this property. So that's Emily there. And the original property comprised of about 300 total acres. And now we're down to 4.5, which is plenty for us. That's still a lot of mowing. And so apparently, what I've read and researched is that during the Civil War, Mr. Hardy used his wife's dower, the money that she got from her father, to make loans. And back during the Civil War, you could post a bond of $300 to get out of your service in the Civil War. So he was making, and I assume that they were high interest loans to people of $300 to get them out of serving in the Civil War. And so he himself also did not serve in the Civil War, so I can only assume that he paid his way out of it too. So they used that money that they made with those loans to put it back in and then build this house. So,
Wow. So,
Yep.
no, the next photo that I want to show is the guy who really, did who came up with the actual plan for this house as far as the floor plan? and
Yeah,
all that goes?
his name was Jacob Snyder, and he was a well-known architect in Akron, Ohio. He was one of the inventors of what they call the Akron Plan, which is just a way of how they set up a church with like a central area for the minister, and it was split off. So each classroom was separate, but they all could focus in on one individual speaker. And actually, there's a house in Akron that's a museum now. It's one of the only houses left that he designed too, that incorporated the Akron plan in the house. So when you walk in through the doorway, there's a central atrium that all the ground floor rooms branch off of. So would you like to go get that charger that's out there? So my battery was fully charged and now it's getting drained, which is very common for our
Really?
house.
Yeah.
So I should have planned ahead a little bit and had my charger in here on the get-go. It's on the table over there, sweetheart.
You know, the beauty of live is that there are going to be times when things just happen.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I've had some pretty very interesting things happen during our lives at times, and that is what some of us are here for.
Yeah. Hey, come here, sweetheart. I'll find it. She can't find it. Talk to Julie for just a second, guys.
Okay.
Come on.
Julie, we got you. Come on. So, as a matter of fact, while we're doing that, and you and I are spending some quality time together here, let's talk a minute to introduce us to the video that we're about to see, because I want people to understand that this was not just a normal house when you guys got it. So first of all, let me ask you this: when you first got the house, did you know that you were going to have roommates?
Just kind of assumed. I mean, it's a given, and it isn't my first rodeo with extra people. So yeah, I just kind of figured, and it doesn't bother me. They're all nice.
Right, because where you guys are at, there's a lot of what we call high strangeness throughout the area. I mean, just you mention Ohio, most people are like, "Oh yeah, I know about that." So it would not be surprising to a lot of people, I guess, if you've been there for any length of time.
And then the house is 150 years old, so you kind of expect extras, and technically it's their home. We just moved in on them.
Right. So when obviously you guys are, a couple who enjoys each other, and you have those moments where you kind of like play around and kid around, and obviously this was that day.
Yeah.
So what was going on to lead up to this? Did you notice anything unusual around when this experience happened on video?
The video where we found the lady.
Yeah,
the lady.
Yeah.
We haven't found her yet. We just heard her.
So I like to scare Wes, and so I decided I was going to scare him, and I was anticipating for him to come up the steps, and I started getting all anxious, and I felt like somebody was standing beside me, but I just kind of like brushed it off. Maybe I'm just getting excited for him to come upstairs, but kind of didn't make any sense because I do this all the time. And so I scared him. And then he was walking down to the edge of the hallway, and I heard somebody say, "Oh, this is funny."
Mhm.
And so then I kind of just blew it off and thought, well, he was looking down at the carpet. Maybe he said something, but it still didn't make sense because she was like right here beside me, and he's down there, and it sounded like a girl. And so I just never said anything to him. And then he comes to me one day, and he's just like, "You got to listen to this. There's somebody on here." And so then I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I knew she was there. I knew that."
Wow.
Yeah,
Like, I heard her.
I was editing video for our YouTube channel stuff, and she sent me the video, and I was just going through things as you do when you edit stuff. And I heard that on my laptop, and it was like clear as day. Like, wow, that's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. Like, just really strange. And that's not, I would say that's the best one we've caught, on film or camera, but we've also had many, 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 many different experiences other than just that. So that we can talk about those too if you'd like. But
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, it's like I've always kind of been on the edge of, I loved Coast to Coast AM, George Norrie and Art Bell. I love those kind of programs, but always been kind of a skeptic about, you know, supernatural stuff. But this place has really done a number on my skepticism.
We still try to debunk things and make
Yeah.
excuses for stuff, but sometimes
You can't.
there is nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you got to go with it.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are on the vertical side, if you want to move over to horizontal, and this is my first time doing this, so I'm not sure how all that works. You probably know if you're there. You may want to jump over there, over on that, because the video and the photos that we're showing tonight, you don't want to miss them. So let's play this right quick, because I found this really very interesting. Let's see if he'll go all the way. There we go.
See, I told you. I knew it.
I still got you.
Wow. That is, when I heard that, I was like, that is the second clearest EVP I've ever heard.
Yeah.
No, there is so much to cover here and so much good stuff. I really want to talk about some of, like, what was the first thing that clued you guys in that you had some active folks living in your house?
Go ahead.
I got haunted like the very first night that we were here, and we weren't even moved in yet. The house wasn't even ours actually at the
We
time.
were still painting
We
it.
were painting, and he left the house. And it's nighttime, and I'm here by myself, and I was in the master bedroom painting a window, and I hear somebody walking up and down the hallway in like a dress rustling. And I was like listening, and I was thinking, geez. And then it starts coming into the bedroom, and it's walking around in the bedroom. And I'm just like, okay, guys, you know what? I'm by myself. It's dark. I'm not used to the house yet. Can you just give me a minute, please? Just give me a minute. And so that was that. It stopped. And then he came in. Then after that,
Then she's like, I heard something. And of course, I'm like, okay, whatever. And then it was, I keep seeing a cat. I'm like, well, okay, well, what do you mean? Like, I keep seeing a cat, like a ghost cat. I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever. I don't think she's crazy, but I'm thinking maybe she is seeing things. And so her and I were on the couch, and we had the door to the servants' stairway open, and you can see it from where the living room is, or the west parlor, or whatever you want to call it. And sure enough, we both at the same time saw like a see-through cat, a shadow of a cat come down the steps. And you could see its tail, curved up and everything. Just went right down the steps. And I looked at her, I was like, did you see that? And she's like, I told you so.
That's hysterical. Now, this, I believe, is that the newspaper rendition of the cat that you're talking about there?
I don't think that that's the cat.
Yeah, I don't think
However,
it's the same cat.
yeah, but that was just a newspaper article. The house has been on fire twice that we know of.
Mm.
Once when a lightning bolt struck the top of the tower, and another time when Mr. Downer, the Downers owned the property for like 50 years, and he was working on the place and had a fire in the east parlor and left, and a log rolled out onto the floor
Mm.
and caused a fire in the east parlor, which pretty much gutted that whole room over there. But yeah, so
I
yeah,
believe we have. Was there another article that you sent me that was part of that, or maybe a photo that was
could
part of
be.
that?
But
Um, yeah, yeah. Let's see. What?
we we really I don't know, the whole cat thing for me was a little bit far-fetched, but we were also sitting on the couch one day. It was Memorial Day of 2024. Yeah. And we had just gone to our daughter's for Memorial Day steak or whatever, and came back home. It was like 6 o'clock at night, and we had a storm, so there was no power in the house at all. Everything was shut down. Everything was dead. And Julie and I were just kind of snuggling on the couch, trying to relax. And just out of the blue, we heard a woman say "hello" from the kitchen, and it was clear as day. And I looked at her. I was like, "What did you hear that?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, well, what did you hear?" And she's like, "I just heard, a female or a woman say hello." I was like, "That's what I heard." So we jumped right up and explored, to see what the deal was. And yeah, just nobody around, and no power. So I know it couldn't have been like a TV or anything on. So, but yeah, really strange. And but this house over the last 151 years of its existence has had a lot of crazy tragedies and a lot of really horrifying stories. Some of them you can Google Shady Bend Manor, and some of the stories will pop up about how the gambler was shot on the third floor and things like that. I mean, I've never been able to find any historic, writings or newspaper articles about it, but there is an apparent blood stain still on the floor. But and that was on the third floor of the tower, way up at the top up there. They used to play cards, and the story with that is the dealer was dealing cards out, and the guy was winning, and so he was feeling his oats and decided to go into town and borrow money. Came back and then lost it all, and got mad at the dealer and shot the dealer. And then instead of dragging the guy through the house, they threw him out the third story window. So they didn't want to leave a bloody mess in the house, so they just
Mm.
dumped him out of the top.
Wow.
And one of the other legends is their Mr. Hardy was the original owner, heard a knock at the door, and so he answered the door, and a gentleman was walking down the road that you see in that picture, and asked if he could come in to get warm, and Mr. Hardy turned him away because he thought he was up to no good.
Mm.
And anyway, the next morning they found the man frozen to death in the barn.
Ouch.
So, and one of the legends about that whole thing is sometimes you'll hear a knock on the door. Well, we didn't know that story at the time, but her and I will often take a bath together in the big old copper bathtub at the end of a hard day's workout here, just so we can get clean and go to bed. And we were just chilling out, and we heard knock knock on the door, of the bathroom, and I was like, wow, that really freaked me out. And we're yelling for our son, hey, are you home? Nothing, nobody there,
Nobody's home.
nobody's home. And so that happened several times, of that same type of thing, door knocking and things. And so we went down the road to look at a new lawnmower. We were interested in buying a lawnmower from a company a few miles down the road. Well, the guy there knew the previous owner that had lived here for like 50 years, Mr. Downer. And he said, "Yo, yeah, Mr. Downer always came in here and told everybody that place was haunted. And he always said that he would hear knocking on the door." And we heard that. And we looked at each other and we're like, he wasn't lying. I have to tell you that actually is a thing. It does happen. And the guy was like, "Really?"
Mm.
Like, "Yep, it does." And the old barn that you have up here right now, I think it may even be older than the house itself, and it's got a lot of history. But it was actually moved from across the street in order to be saved. The Downers
Wow.
had enough, I don't know, sense to actually just pick it up and move it across the street, and they were able to save that structure, and it's absolutely amazing inside. And all the hand hewn oak beams and stuff like that. But and there's a lot of legends associated with that thing too. So,
Wow.
but yeah, I think I last counted at least 10 documented deaths here in the manor, and
Whoa.
there are a few others that we haven't been able to document, like the guy getting shot on the third floor and things like
Mhm.
that. But the original owner and his wife, and they passed away here, and then the next owner and things like that. But that's not too unusual, I guess, for a house that's this old. You're going to have some things like that. But yeah.
Right. Right. So, for those of you watching, if you have made it this far, I would like to ask you a question. So, if you bought a house and you figured out that you had extra roommates that had been there way longer than you, what would be your reaction? Leave me a comment below. So, let me ask you guys this, because I'm when you guys were talking, it occurred to me that you actually live in this house. Um, so, but you also is do you open the house to the public for tours as well?
Go ahead, honey.
No, you can.
Okay.
Go.
I don't want to do all the talking, but yeah, we had decided that one way to help with the restoration funds and things like that would be to open it to the public. When we first bought the house, our idea was to bring in people from the nursing homes, because I sing into nursing homes and stuff like that, and we just wanted to be able to. Do we charge the ghosts rent? No. No, but believe me, they charge us.
Wow.
They probably think we would have to pay them because
Yeah.
it's their
Right, it's their house.
They'd probably like, get up here first. It's fine.
That's hilarious. But yeah, whatever I was talking about, I have no idea.
Going to the nursing homes to
Yeah, so we wanted to bring elderly people out and give them a night's worth of singing and entertainment, and let them dine here at the table. We're in the dining room right now, and also open it to the public and share it with the public. There have been a lot of people, that have driven past this house their entire lives, who never got to see the inside of it until we opened it up to the public. So, yeah, I can't even tell you how many, probably hundreds of people that we've talked to that oh, I used to work in West Lafayette and I drove past this place for 30 years and wondered what it looked like. I'm so glad you guys have opened it up. And
Yeah, people would
so,
tell us. Some people have cried
yeah,
and thanked us and give us hugs and said that we've made their dreams come true. And
yeah,
so yeah, it's nice
yeah.
to be able to do stuff like
We,
that.
we've even had one of our, I guess he's become sort of a friend of ours now, but one day I pulled up and I was like, there's somebody standing on the porch. Who is that? Long hair, and I was like, that's strange. And I walked up there and it's this guy. He's like, hey, I really, really, really want to spend the night. I'll do anything, just let me have one night in this place. It's always been a dream. And so I was like, well, maybe we can work something out. So every year so far that we've been here during Halloween, on Halloween night, we do a raffle for $10, and the winner can bring three friends. So we give the house over to the winner and the three friends from about, I don't know, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock the next morning, so they can, do whatever. No seances or Ouija boards or anything too crazy. We don't want to open up
Right.
any portals or anything, but they can, you know, spend the night. The first year, the guy that was here said he saw a woman dressed in white, and then the next year, it was last Halloween. Uh, a guy and his three kids were here, and they made it till 10 o'clock at night, and they were out. So I
Oh,
guess she heard somebody talking. She was up in the tower and heard some voices from the other side of the wall, and she's like, So
people are so funny with that.
yeah.
So I want to give you guys a little bit of a taste of just how creative this couple really is, and how that this house has given them the inspiration to do what they do here. Here is a photo that, now tell us about this.
Well, this was last Halloween, right? Around Halloween when we were doing
Oh
tours for
yeah,
Halloween.
CrossFit place came.
Yep. And so we decided to dress up. So now, occasionally, when we do tours, like our Christmas tours this month, we'll be open every Sunday of December from 1 to 5. So we'll be dressed up in our old Victorian outfits. So, and real quick, I want to point one thing out to you.
Mhm.
Right behind me, there's a frame sitting on the floor. Do you see that?
I do.
That is a Victorian. It's an actual period Victorian hair art,
Oh,
and they
wow.
would cut deceased person's hair and make art out of it as a remembrance to their lost loved ones. So we
Mm.
found that out in the barn, and
Oh my
we
God.
also that frame above my head. That is a picture of the property of what it looked like in 1881. So it's just an actual etching that they did for one of the historical magazines that they put out at the time, the history of Coshocton County, 1881. So that's it really gives a good idea what this place looked like 150 years ago. But
Wow.
I think I may have sent you that picture, somewhere in the emails,
Let's
so you can see. But
let me
um,
see. I think I did see it. Let me see if I can pull that up.
yeah,
There,
but the name Shady Bend came from Mr. Hardy himself. Uh, he really liked green maple trees and the green with his heritage, and being an Irishman, he planted maple trees all the way down the road, and they called it Shady Bend. So
wow.
And also the other thing is that there was a bend in the river not too far from here, so that was another area where they got that name from. So, and this whole area is still known as Shady Bend after all this time. So,
Okay, wait a minute. Is this the photo you're talking about?
no, nope. But
Okay.
that I can tell you about real quick. That was from 1942, and between 1940 and 1942, this place was a children's receiving home. So during the period where there were a lot of different owners, somebody had the idea to bring kids in here, and so. And Julie has also had an experience with kids in here too.
Oh wow.
This is a crazy story. We were remodeling the stairway going up the servant stairway, and I was in what's the servants' quarters, and she was out trying to paint, uh, leaning over the banister, and I heard something, and I came out to check on her, and then you tell him what you heard.
So there was a little boy behind me, and like almost simultaneously as I'm tipping over, he's the little boy is really loud, says, "Uh oh." And so then he heard it and he comes running out of the room and said, "What's going on?" And so I'm like, "Did you hear that?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, one, I'm not the one that said oh, but this is what happened." Is So then I told him how I almost fell off the over the banister, and he's like, "Okay, you're done. You're not going to paint that. I'll paint
I'll
it."
get it.
Otherwise, had the little boy not hollered, "Uh-oh," I would have just never said a word to him about me always tipping over. I would have just went about my way and probably would have fell over the banister. But the little boy plays on our butler staircase all the time. And there for a while, I would watch him playing on the steps, and I'm just thinking, do I see that? Is that a kid? Thinking like I'm trying to make excuses to myself, like I'm not seeing that. It's not was. And I never said anything to him, but then there was another lady here who was a medium, and we were sitting here at the dining room table, and she caught me like leaning over, looking at him because he was playing on the steps at that point, and she says to me, "You see him, don't you?" And I said, "What?" And she says, "That little boy right there." Well, so okay, it is a little boy. I thought maybe like, what is that? So,
Wow.
oh boy.
That is, that doesn't surprise me in a way, because when I see this, I brought this picture up because there's, I mean, obviously, not only to give you guys an idea of just how beautiful this house is being restored to, which is like amazing to me, how much energy has been put into really just it's a work of art. I can't even like
Yeah. And just to stress, there have been a lot of people before us that put a lot of time and effort into your. I mean, Mr. Downer, he spent 50 years in this place, and some of his flower beds, and the man and his wife, they were masters with the flowers. It was unbelievable. I wish I'd have thought to show you a picture of the work that they did in the gardens around here. But I mean, Mr. Downer also did a lot of carpentry work and restoration work in here, so we don't want to forget him, and some of the other people. There were three owners after him that did a little bit of work too on the way. So we're not responsible for everything, but
Just two of those three, really.
yeah, I mean we've done a lot of work. The one owner was only here for maybe 3 months, so she came up from Texas. I want to say in the middle of winter, and that's a bad idea in this place. Let me tell you, it gets pretty chilly. So, and just heating the place is it's astronomical for us. I mean, You're looking at $4,000 to $5,000 a year just in propane to keep the plaster from falling off the walls. So, and this is a picture of what we just decorated on the second floor of the Belvedere, and so the Belvedere being the tower in the front,
Oh wow.
but and the Venetian chandelier up there. It's a really pretty chandelier, but we've also restored 2 of the 4 windows in that room. If you look on the the right hand side of the Christmas tree, that's a restored window, and the other 2 have yet to be restored. So you can kind of see the work that we've done there a little bit on those to get them back. Some of the parts we had to hand make because you just can't go to Lowe's and buy them. So we got to hand make replacement parts. So, and we're putting the original wavy old glass back in them to keep everything the way it used to look. But yeah, that picture is of Julie looking out the second floor windows when we were painting it. So
Those are the ones that he hung me out of to reach out and around to paint the trim.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
By
Yeah,
my
you
belt.
are way braver than I would ever be. Okay. There's
I told her she missed her calling as a Marine drill instructor.
evidently to be able to do stuff like that, because I gotta
Harder.
tell you, that would be a hard no for me. You're gonna hang
Yeah.
me out of a what?
I begged him to, because he was going to hang out the window, and I was like, oh no.
I'm a big
'Cause
chicken.
He's afraid of heights, and so I told him, I
Dude.
said, rightfully, I'm not afraid. So
Yeah.
you don't stick somebody who's afraid of heights out a window. It's just a bad. So
Yeah.
it took me a lot of talking, but he finally let me do it.
I got the hold of her
Wow.
though, so she wasn't going anywhere. So
I trust my husband, but then wasn't thinking in the moment like we really trusted my belt loops.
yeah.
That's probably
Well,
not a good idea.
I had good hold of her. She wasn't going anywhere.
It's like-
And if she falls, I fall. So
There you go. So I want to point out too, like the woodwork around the doorway and so forth. Now this is just like, so back in the day, there was a tendency I noticed for homes, for the doorways to kind of reflect what you're going to be experiencing when you go into a house. They put a
Yeah.
lot of thought into their homes back then.
yeah.
And so when I first saw this picture, the first thing I noticed was how incredibly beautiful and detailed the doorway itself was.
Yeah.
And I was like, so some of the photos that are part of the home just kind of reflect what you see when you first walk into the entranceway. I mean, I don't even have words for it. It's the work of art is the closest I can come to this. This house is
Yeah.
stunning. It's stunning.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they just, like I said, they don't build them like they used to. This place is, it's got about 16 to 18 inches thick brick walls around it. And, it's sitting on an old sandstone foundation that hasn't moved. But that picture there is of the original owner and his wife. I'm guessing I had it colorized just so we could better see, what it looked like. But there was a wash house behind the house where they would do all the laundry.
Wow.
And there was a smokehouse in the back, and it also had a kitchen on the back end. And back in 1913, they took the kitchen off the house, and it's part of another house about a half a mile down the road. So,
Wow.
yeah, you can see just how well manicured they had the bushes and things like that. And that was not an easy task back then. Even mowing the lawn, they had to push it with a little push mower. And so there was a lot of work just taking care of this place. And I want to say that the other lady on the left-hand side of the photo was their maid, which was Mr. Hardy's niece, Maggie. And she married a man named William Lovelace, but Maggie passed away. And so William Lovelace wound up with the house because Mr. and Mrs. Hardy didn't have any kids.
Mm.
So, and then William Lovelace remarried to a lady named Mary Sargent. And the Sargents just lived down the road. And their family is why we have so many of the photographs and things that we have, because it got passed down. And our neighbor, who his name was Quentin, he had a lot of stuff and was able to save a lot of things. So otherwise, all of this would have been lost.
Oh, jeez. It's really, I love, like, you look at this picture of the house and it's beautiful, and at the same time it has a little bit of attitude.
Yes,
Just a
yes,
tad little bit of attitude.
yeah,
to it.
and
It has a lot of attitude.
Yeah. and I think that attitude is really a reflection of Mr. Hardy and his wife. They were very, I think a modern term for them, and I've told my wife this too, is that they were like the 19th century version of a power couple. Like they were, she was in court fighting his battles, and like, I mean, they were
Wow.
something else. Like if somebody didn't pay their bill, they were in court. And when he died, she was carried on the tradition. Like she was, for pardon my French, she was kind of an ass kicker. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
but yeah, they also had a farm out in Oklahoma too that they had. And when Mrs. Hardy passed away, her estate wound up in front of the Ohio Supreme Court because they were fighting over all of her stuff because
Oh, jeez.
of, she didn't have any heirs. So it was all a big scandal, and it went clear to the Supreme Court. But William Lovelace wound up pretty much with everything and got remarried. But yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So this area of the house here is the top of the tower, and we had just recently decorated it for Christmas, so that's why it looks the way it does. And anyway, the blood stain from the gambler would be underneath the leg of the chair on the left hand side there.
Mm.
So at least that's what we believe, anyways.
That's the story.
So that's the story.
That we got told.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, it's visible. Whatever it is, it's there. I don't know if we could have it tested or something to make sure, but yeah. And so above that chandelier is an access hole, and Julie, she can fit up there. She crawled all the way up into that, and it's really cool because you can see the burnt timbers from when the lightning struck the top of the tower. It's kind of like Back to the Future.
Wow.
But,
It's very interesting because this is the second time today I've heard somebody talk about a property, one of the properties that here locally that I'm kind of getting ready to hopefully be able to investigate. I'm researching a lot now, and one of the current residents in the house is part of the family that owns it, was talking about, like, AT&T has literally had discussions about how many times they've had to come out to replace equipment because their house has been struck by lightning that many times.
Wow. Jeez.
That's wild.
So, and I say that to say this, the fact that this house has been struck by lightning twice is actually not a common occurrence.
Well, it
Um,
was just once.
or was
Fire
it one?
twice, lightning once. Yeah.
Fire twice, lightning
Yeah.
once?
Yeah. And a tornado too, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
geez.
Yeah. I forgot about that one.
This
Yep.
is a house that's just like the unsinkable Molly Brown.
It's
Just
it's
not.
determined.
Yeah.
It's
It,
very determined. It's gonna stay here.
it would take a lot to knock this thing down. So, but we're really, really trying our best to keep it going. There's a lot of things here that need done, especially with the mortar work and the brickwork outside. It all needs retucked and pointed
Right.
because
Electricity.
yeah, and the electric, we've gone through top to bottom, mapped out all the electric and tried to make sure that everything was safe. We did find, interestingly enough, and there used to be an apartment on the third floor, and somebody had wired lamp cord straight into the sub panel up there. So we we had to make sure all that was disconnected. It's like huge fire hazard, and the ground cables for the receptacle boxes was stapled to one of the beams. So,
Is that? Let me
yeah.
see if I can find this. I
Uh,
think so.
that is our. Oh, there you go. Yeah, yep.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's one of the issues. Yeah,
Yeah, I saw
but
that. I was like, what a mess.
yeah, that sense has been cleaned up. I went in there and got rid of all the stuff that it just didn't need to be there or wasn't working or was a hazard. Just got rid of it.
Yeah, so we just don't have like some outlets don't work now, and then
Yeah.
some lights because he just disconnected.
Yeah, I just got rid of it.
Took it all out for now.
So yeah, but
This
that
is a
is,
much prettier picture.
yeah, yes, that is the first floor bathroom, and I like to tell all of our tourists that come through that this is where Mr. Hardy did his business. Now it's where we do ours. But his safe, his original safe, is still here in the broom closet. I think I sent you that picture, but he did his money changing through here because he was also the only banker in the area, and so everybody would come here to do their banking, and so there was a door that there you go, and that's the original safe. So before anybody gets too excited about it, we've already been in it. We've got the combination, but the mechanism's been disabled, so there's nothing special in it other than a mold smell and dirt and
Yeah.
dust. So
Yeah, we just restored that bathroom.
yeah. So
That bathroom is absolutely beautiful. I was like, wow. You know, people don't understand that the importance of having a comfortable, beautiful bathroom, but literally it's the first and last place you see
yeah,
every day. So, next to your bedroom. So, I saw this. I was like, this is absolutely amazing. So, as we're coming up on the hour here, I really want to talk to you guys for just a moment about, because you do offer tours and so forth. I'm assuming you probably do mostly historical tours, but do you do historical and paranormal?
yeah. Well, first of all, yes, we do historical tours. We've been opening it up for like Christmas, Memorial Day, Labor Day. I don't know. Did we do July 4th? Just like the major holiday weekends, because it takes a lot to get this place ready to have tours. I mean, we're dead tired right now because since right before Thanksgiving, we've been cleaning and getting the house set up for Christmas. All the dishes on the table and all the Christmas trees. There's 7 Christmas trees.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of decorating going on.
We do private tours
Yeah.
too, like if people call or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll give them.
And our website also is www.shadybendmanor.org. You can contact us through our website. You can contact us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Shady Bend Manor. on YouTube, and I think at Shady Bend Manor on Facebook. But if you just Google it, you'll find us. So
Yeah, there it is on Facebook as well.
yeah,
Pam is amazing at throwing those links up in the
yeah,
comments.
nice job. That's pretty sweet.
Pam and Jenny. Jenny is working hard at it tonight.
Like I can't even think that fast. Who is this person?
These two, I'm telling you, I have some of the greatest mods there are.
That's great.
They mod several different shows. So these ladies are on the go. And Jeannie also has a business, which I will tell you guys now. You can find that on you should be able to find links to that on my Facebook group. So check that out.
Yeah.
So obviously, because one of the things that I wanted, and I really want to push this out there because I found it very interesting, the synchronicity between the original owners relationship and you guys appear to have a very good, strong relationship too. I found that very interesting while you were talking tonight. And so do you kind of feel like you were picked for this house?
I don't see how we could more than likely, because the way things just all fell out, and had we not by freak chance met the owners that we were buying it from, we wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
Because, a few other things that came into play, not only was it just because we were local, but they liked our personality, and like the fact that we were willing to share it, because they were skeptical about sharing it, and they felt like it should be shared. And so, just a lot of things had to really, really fall into place.
Yeah. A lot of synchronicities and just right place at the right time. I mean, I've often said it wasn't anything short of a miracle. I mean, we believe in God, and we believe in, spirituality, and we really think that the good Lord has a plan for us some way or another with this. If it's just to entertain old folks or whatever, we're here, and we kind of submit ourselves to that plan and to that journey. So
and then the day that he found the house for sale, or he called to put it in, it was my dad's birthday, and then the day of closing was the day before my daughter's birthday. So that's I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and we could go on all night about all the little things that have happened. Just a real quick example. We had been looking for a church to go to because, the churches, the little churches, are a really good way to get involved with community and get to know people. And so we had our peepers peeled for a church, and just out of the blue, I got a message on Facebook from somebody, and they said, "Hey, I've got a couple of chairs from our church. If you guys are interested in them, you can come to my house, meet me, and I'll show you what they are or whatever." And so I showed up at the house and met the guy, retired military guy. I'm a military guy. I spent 5 years in the Marines, so we're getting along. And so anyway, he's like, "Yeah, well, I'm a minister. I preach out at a church that Cy Young, the baseball player, would occasionally go to." I'm like, "Wow, that's cool." And I said, "Well, what's it called?" He says, "It's called the Wesley Chapel." It's like, "What? The Wesley Chapel?"
Wow.
Well, that's my name. So like, wow, that's cool. So we got to know the pastor a little bit, and then we decided, hey, we'll go out there and give it a shot and see what it's all about. And people out there are really wonderful. And anyway, we went out there for a dinner one night. And well, even before that, after I met the guy, we went to the Wesley Chapel because I found out that Mrs. Hardy's parents and grandparents are buried at the cemetery. So I was
Oh,
like, wow,
wow.
that's really strange. Wesley Chapel and the Stewarts. That was her maiden name. They're all buried there, and so there was a woman that lived here in her house. Her name was Thelma Harding. She was an antique dealer and she lived here in the 50s and 60s for a little while before it was sold to the Downers. And so our minister is like, hey, I wanted you guys to see this painting of Jesus that somebody painted for the church out here. And, we looked at it, but never really that close. It's just a giant painting of Jesus. So Julie and I walked up to it and we looked at it, and wouldn't you know it, it was painted by Thelma Harding, the
Oh,
lady that lived
wow.
in our house. So I was like, you can't make this stuff up, right?
Right.
And we thought, wow, it would be really nice to have a painting that Thelma Harding painted to put in our house. And I don't know, like a month later or so, we were digging through the barn and we found one of her paintings and we put it up. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so really cool. And yeah, just that's how you know you're where you're supposed to be, I guess. So,
Right. Right. So let me ask you this, as we begin to wrap up the night here. What's something that you would like to leave us with tonight? Closing thoughts.
go ahead, Jules.
I have no idea. You do.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Closing thoughts. Boy, is there an afterlife? I would say most definitely. Whatever form that takes, I don't know for certain. As a Bible believing guy, I want to say that we all die and go to one of two places. But, do we really know? I don't know. But, there sure is some creepy stuff out there. And we live it almost every
It
day.
isn't creepy here.
It's not too bad. You get used to it. It might creep some people out, but not us.
He's
really.
just a bit of a weenie.
Yeah. Thanks for telling the whole world my secrets.
Wow.
But,
And
yeah.
this is one of the reasons why I had to have you guys on, because I knew there was some good energy the minute Austin was telling me about you guys. Do me a favor, hang out for a moment. I'm going to wrap up the show, and I want to talk to you guys for just a moment before we say goodnight. But I'm going to go and close out the show for us and get folks ready to do their Friday night thing.
Yeah. Real quick, if I can just throw a quick plug in there.
Absolutely.
ShadyBendManor.org. We also have a donate button under the projects page. And we also have a
Yeah.
GoFundMe. So if people feel like they want to help support the restoration effort here, they can go to the GoFundMe under Shady Bend Manor and make a little donation. We really appreciate that. Our mission here depends on the public. I mean, we're not a nonprofit because we own the house. It's not like an educational center. Like, we live here, we sleep here, we breathe this every day. So, but this place takes somebody being here full time in order to make sure it doesn't fall in, because it's a lot of work, but it's worth preserving, and we really appreciate everybody's support. And thank you for having us on as well.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I would not have missed this opportunity for the world.
Thanks. Thank you.
I will see you guys again in just a moment.
Yep.
Okay, guys, if you've made it this far, thank you for joining us tonight. I got to tell you, the work put into this place and the love in this house is just amazing. So do me a favor, go over to shadybendmanor.org, check it out. If you feel led to help out with the effort, there's options on there, as we know now, to be able to go and donate. Be much appreciated. We have so many places that are losing valuable history and historical sites now because they're either being abandoned or just being taken over by developers and done away with. So this is an opportunity to save a part of history that is worth saving, very much worth saving. And it's also one of those things where, to be honest with you, I feel kind of called to encourage you guys to do just that, even if it's only just a couple of dollars, just anything to help keep this building going and to help them out with the effort would be really appreciated. All right, you guys have a good weekend. I love you guys. Thank you for your support, and may your journey always be magical.
I've waited for so long to see when you come back to me. Through the wars and battles that were lost, we're born again, it's you and me. The rest is history. Past lives. Past lives. Did we dance together on different floors in 1500 or 1504? We must have been lovers, we must have been something in our past lives.